So let's talk a little bit about getting your lawn ready for the fall and the winter.
Maybe at that time of year again, we already getting that phone call on people on the lawn. And the most important thing they ask us now, how low should I cut my grass during the fall of the year? No, and I would tell them all the time, you don't want to cut it too low. You want to maintain the same height that you were cutting it during the regular season. Because you cut it too low, and we have another one like we did this year, and that high snow get on there, it can be damaged. It can be damaged. You can't damage your grass in there. But you want it to maintain same height. And this is a good time now to get your soil tested. You know, in the fall of the year, get it tested. Because you need to add any lime to it, or anything you need to add to it, like especially phosphorus and potassium. You know, people think that they still, them roots are still acting.
Right, still growing.
During the fall of the year, but the top part just not growing.
Right.
Because of the weather. But get that soil tested, you need to add in a lime to that now. You can do that now. And by the time the grass start back in the spring next year, the lime is already there and ready to go. You cut down a lot of problems, but don't cut it too low.
Don't cut it too low. Get your soil tested.
Get the soil
and of course, go to your local extension office.
Call your local extension office and then probably in there and do that. See, that's what they need to do to the in there. Another thing we don't realize it though, no, it didn't never happen probably a lot of times. We go through a real dry winter. Especially in the early part, that you need to add a little water to your lawn. You need to water, and it's not like doing it in the summertime, but you need to add some water to keep those root system moist. They still active under the ground. They just don't see what's going on. But they still active there, and they still doing that. But that's a good plan. You get that lawn ready. You want to have it come back strong next year.
Okay. So I have a few questions for you about getting that lawn ready for the fall and winter. Is it necessary to fertilize your lawn in the fall? I know you talked a little bit about it, but is it necessary?
It is necessary. It's needed. Now, like I said, no, you don't want to give no nitrogen fertilizer in the fall of the year, especially warm season grass. You want to give if it needs phosphorus potassium. That is good to do that in the fall of the year because you do that. Now you've got a cool season grass beginning to grow. Now you might want to fertilize that in the fall of the year in there. But your warm season grass, hold back on your nitrogen fertilizer because if you give it some nitrogen fertilizer, it could start to grow. And when it's starting to grow in there, then we have a real cold spell. It can damage that grass, so you don't want to damage that grass in there. But hold back on your nitrogen, but give it some phosphorus potassium if needed, and also check that soil pH for add that lime to that, because the lime is very important. If you don't have that lime correct on there, a lot of times all the other nutrients you add to the soil is not going to be taken up by the plant. So you want to do that then, and so that's that fall is the best time to do that for it. Then you're ready to go in the springtime. When the spring come out there, the grass ready to go. It's healthy, so I'm ready to go now. Let me come out of this dormancy and let me grow.
Good and green.
Good and green. I'm ready to go in there.
All right, so this next question is a question I know we get a lot at the extension office. When should I put down a pre-emerge herbicide on my lawn?
A pre-emerge, now it was a pre-mean before. Now you know in there. For your warm season grass, you want to put it down in the fall of the year. And pre, it's going to keep the seed from germinating. You know, you want to do that in there now. And putting a pre-emerge herbicide down, you need to get a complete cover. You need to go a complete cover. You need to go both directions. If it's at half, it's at 50 pounds here, put 25 pounds that way and 25 pounds that way. Just make you get a good coverage in there. Then it'll come back again probably in March. And put another pre-emerge down in there. Try to get some of those summer weeds in your lawn. And most pre-emerge are going to come like in a granule. It don't need to be activated in by rainwater or some type of irrigation. Over a period of time, it should be on the label. It need to be irrigated in some kind of in that way in there. But pre-emerge is very important though. If you get that pre-emerge down, you can control a lot of those summer weeds from coming germinating in there. If they mess around and get through, you use a post-emerge herbicide right in.
Or if you can't, just pull it out.
just put it out there.
It's not too much of it. Just pull it out.
Just put it out there. Then when you put it out, try to get the whole that root system. Try to get all that root system. You don't want to break it up.
Do read and follow the label though.
Need reading for
emerge herbicides for sure, and post-emerge herbicides. All right. So the next question is this: how low should I cut my warm season grasses for winter?
But like I said, you maintain the same height that you had them before. You maintain the same height. You don't want to cut it too low in there. You about the same height. Like for Bermuda grass and Georgia grass, about 2.5 to 3 inches tall. In there, you want to do that. You cut it tight, and a lot of people when they don't, they think they cutting it real low, making things gonna look better during the winter time. They don't look good, but you really can be damaged to your lawn. And because you don't want that. Like I said, we don't have that ice and snow like we did this year. You get on there and damage that grass in there. Like I said, a good thing to do on your lawn is when you have a big rain, walk around that lawn. Walk around that lawn, just see how everything look. See you got this area where water standing. You might not notice that but the time it's finna rain, just see, you don't want to stand too long. You want to just go and drain off there.
Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So let me ask you about the fescue grass.
Okay.
So how tall should we, maintain our fescue grasses?
But normally it's growing in the fall of the year.
Right.
You want to keep it somewhere about 3 inches tall.
Okay.
3 inches tall in there, and then sometimes you might cut that off in there like that because sometimes you go real fast. The fescue, your fescue grass. We do have some people have some Kentucky bluegrass. It'd be looking good too. You need to cut that too about 3 inches tall in there.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to keep that grass. You need to keep that grass at the right height. And that you can fight off a lot of problems with that.
Right. All right, so this next question is about soil testing.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about soil testing. So again, it's just important, right?
This is just important, in there for the pH of the soil,
Right.
and that's most important for it. And also the uptake of all the other nutrients we have in the soil. You don't want that down there. And a lot of times people just wonder, man, my grass not doing good. What's wrong with my grass not doing good in there, not growing? I pass fertilizer to it and everything. You need to have that soil tested. And a lot of times, and a lot of times you can't get the pH too high.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't get too high and still that do the same effect that have it just being too low.
Right.
And that's why we recommend doing that. And you have some lawn service, something like that. Sometimes having to test your soil. Sometimes just see what the pH running in there. So you want to know that. That's the most important thing in your grass there.
Okay. And again, what's a good pH for your lawn grasses?
But most lawn grasses that we have it is between 6.0 and 6.5. Like I said, you cannot know that by looking at it. No. I thought mine was right one time, and I thought it was right. Then I had to test it, and it was low.
All right.
Right. It wasn't too low, but it was low. I need to add some lime to it. And another thing, you don't need to test your soil every year.
Right. Yeah.
About every 3 years is a good time to have that testing. It'll stay the same for about 3 years. Then you might want to come out and test again in 3 years.
Right.
And you can call your extension service for soil boxing and information how to get that tested.
Right.
And then
because we have a great soil lab here in Tennessee.
great soil lab and
Dr. Robert Florence does an excellent job there.
And the price is not that bad. I'd rather pay $15 and get it tested than throwing money out there and they're not doing any good.
All right. Good point. Good point. All right. So our next question is: do we get diseases on our grasses during the winter? How about that?
Well, sometimes we take them from our warm season grass. We take them over into the winter. And we don't try to control, though they will stay on your lawn grass until you just control those grass. You just don't hardly see them in the wintertime because the grass is dormant.
Okay.
It could dormant. And sometimes, but your fescue lawn, you might get some brown patches sometime in there, and you might just look through that and see it. You might see some brown patches in there. And normally you'll see that on your fescue grass, and very few Kentucky bluegrass, you might see that.
Okay.
But you will see that.
But it is possible.
It's possible because they growing then. You can see it. It'll be visible to the eye then.
Okay.
But normally your warm season grass is kind of dormant. We kind of just brown, so you can hardly tell you got them out there. But you would know you had some in the springtime last year, and sometimes you do not with them. Sometimes they'll carry over in there.
And they carry over. Okay.
So,
all right. So good tips, right, on getting your lawn prepared for the fall and winter.
You know, prepared for fall, but then you really trying to get it ready for the next spring.
Right.
So you need to take doing the thing now to get it ready for next spring in there. Yeah.
Okay.
You take care of that grass now.
Take care of that grass. Well, we appreciate that information. Thank you much.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.